Welcome to the March edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll take an icy plunge into White Bear Lake. We'll get a preview of the Northeast Metro Job Fair, and we'll learn about some exciting things happening at our Washington County libraries. All that and more is straight ahead on Northeast Journal. Hello everyone and welcome to the March edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host Joe Cullen. Every month on Northeast Journal we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the Northeast section of the Twin Cities. Every year people of all ages jump into the icy waters of White Bear Lake for a good cause. In late January, 965 plungers raised over $180,000 to benefit Special Olympics Minnesota. Producer Mary Klein was at the event along with photographers Nick Anderson and Brian Henshin. Let's dive in.
It's a good one and done bucket list. Get it done.
Looking at the water a little bit ago and it looks cold.
Here's our team captain, John. He is such a great, he's an athlete in the Special Olympics and he's our biggest motivation here. It's all for him and his team.
That star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. 3, 2, 1, jump!
Olympics and we love superheroes, so what more do you want? Eh?
Lily's our friend's daughter, and we jump for her every year. We raise $17,000.
It was fantastic. I've never done it before. It's on my bucket list. I needed to do this. Jumping into a box of needles. Every molecule on my body, but it was worth it.
I get it vicariously by watching all of these people scream. It's a ball, but I would never be able to do it.
This is actually our 10th year. We've raised $41,000 total as of now.
An exciting new partnership between Washington County Library and Washington County Public Health and Environment is providing helpful resources to build language skills in children. Let's learn more about the Read to Me tote bag program. Studies show that by the time children from low-income families turn 4, they will have heard 30 million fewer words than their more advantaged peers. To address this 30 million word gap, the Washington County Library and Washington County Public Health Departments have teamed up to offer Read to Me tote bags.
New and expecting mothers will be given a tote. So any mother who is expecting or has a child up to age 1 will be giving one of these Read to Me totes. And then also county public health nurses will be giving them to first-time parents when they do their home visits for new babies that are born, and they do the home visit program.
Washington County Library Youth Services Coordinator Dawn LaBrosse tells us what's in the totes.
It has 3 board books that we are giving to the family, and that's really just about making sure that their baby has their very first home library, and just encouraging the importance of reading with your child every day, even at the young age of an infant, because they're learning about language and they're learning about communication and literacy by listening to the important people in their lives, such as their parents or their caregivers.
The Read to Me totes also contain other resources, including a suggested reading list and an invitation to get the baby's first library card. The program began at the beginning of February, and LaBrosse is already hearing great things about it.
My contact of the WIC clinics is saying that families are so enthusiastic about getting it, and they're so thankful for it, and they're going through it faster than they thought they would. We initially started out with about 200 kits that we sent out to the different WIC clinics and to the public health nurses, and within the first week and a half they were like, we're running out. So we quickly stuffed and assembled another 300 that we've shipped out.
More information about the Read to Me Totes program can be found at any Washington County library or the county health clinics in Stillwater, Cottage Grove, and Forest Lake. Let's stay in the Washington County Library system to learn about their new library card designs. Check it out. Pick a card, any card. That's what staff at all Washington County Library branches want their patrons to do now that 7 new library card designs have been unveiled.
Within the last year, we launched a new website. So we have a new web address, and the address on the old card, while it would take people to the new site, wasn't correct, so we needed to update that. But we could have easily just done another white card with washcolib.org on it. Instead, we decided to sit down and think, how could we personalize this for our patrons? Because everyone uses the library and its resources a little differently. So we wanted to offer people a chance to have a card that matched their experience.
A library staff member with design experience created the 7 new designs. Washington County Library Communications Specialist Bethany Venable took time to show us each of the new designs.
We have a buffalo plaid print, which is kind of, an up north vibe, Minnesotan. We have one with monsters or aliens, however you deem those little creatures. One that's kind of looks like scribbles or, little doodles in a notebook. Scenes from Washington County, so different pictures from around our beautiful county. This one has the last names of authors in the background, so you can kind of do a little I Spy for maybe one of your favorites. We have one with cats, and then we also have kind of a wood plank, hardwood floor look. And so I think we can all agree those are a lot more exciting than this.
So far, library staff have been impressed by how excited patrons are by the new designs.
We knew that this would be exciting. We underestimated how excited people would be about it. We had a Facebook post go up at the beginning of the month, and it was just to introduce that we had, new designs, and we wanted to make sure that people who had the old card knew that they could come in and swap it out, and we can even keep their barcode so that they don't lose their login information. And that post is one of our highest, it is our highest post that we've ever put out. And to see the excitement of people tagging their friends and saying, I need to get that cat one, I need to get that buffalo plaid one, really told us that we struck a chord in a good way with our patrons, which is what we always want.
Any member of the Washington County Library System can trade their old card for a new design at any of the 7 county library branches. You can even keep your same barcode number. The cards also come with a key tag version that can go on a key ring. It's time for a short break. When we come back, we'll learn about the Northeast Metro Job Fair.
Extra DWI enforcement is now being served on Minnesota roads. Don't be what you drink.
Heroes come from small towns.
Many of our heroes coming home from wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have a new battle, unemployment. Hello, I'm Rocky Lynn.
I'm Sergeant Dejan Farrell.
And I'm Captain Ron Jarvie. The unemployment rate for today's veteran is 12%.
That's twice the average of others living here in the Heartland.
This year, tribute to the troops, the Armed Forces, and members of the Upper Midwest ME chapter are asking you to help. Hire today's veteran.
To hire today's veteran, visit positivelyminnesota.com/veterans.
Welcome back to Northeast Journal. If you're looking for a job or a career change, then you'll want to be in Vadnais Heights later this month. March 27th is the Northeast Metro Job Fair at Jimmy's Events Center in Vadnais Heights. Over 40 employers will be there with full and part-time positions that they're looking to fill. Let's learn more about the job fair from Cindy O'Donovan, who is the chair of the Workforce Committee for the Vadnais Heights Economic Development Corporation. And Cindy, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on Northeast Journal.
My pleasure, Joe. Thank you for having me.
And as I mentioned, you're involved with the Vadnais Heights Economic Development Corporation, or VHEDC for short.
Yes.
I understand you also have a variety of other hats that you wear. It seems like most of them tie in with kind of connecting people to employers that are looking for jobs.
Absolutely. It's one of the things I love. I've had recruitment experience over 30 years, and so exactly right, connecting people is something I'm very passionate about. Vadnais Heights has a number of employers, as you well know, also Shoreview, White Bear Lake, and a lot of people are looking for good employees right now, trying to grow business as well as keep lots of new things happening. And there's a lot of people retiring these days, so always a need for new employees. What I like about the job fair is it gives people an opportunity to meet face to face. Online can be beneficial, but we kind of refer to get in line and stay offline. It helps you connect better. Meeting face-to-face gives the employers an opportunity to really learn a little bit about the job seekers, what they bring, and it also gives the job seekers an opportunity to get a variety of insights into, to get a variety of opportunities that they can consider right in their own backyard.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure it can be overwhelming for job seekers these days because there's, so many websites out there that list different jobs, and they want you to apply maybe directly online, and you don't know, you're just kind of one of many that are, how do you stand out? But like I said, I'm sure that face to face, maybe you can stand out in that way.
Yes, face-to-face makes a difference, and then we'll also have some resources there. So we have career coaches, we have people from Anoka, Ramsey, and Washington County Workforce Centers, as well as a military veteran. So several liaisons that can help people learn about services that are available and then have connections to employers beyond the job fair.
Okay. And like you said, there's over 40 employers that are going to be there, and it looks like you have a wide range of, manufacturing, retail, social services, hospitality, healthcare, construction, and I'm sure even more than that. So sounds like a nice variety of employers will be there.
Great variety, right. And at this time of year, of course, there are employers who will be looking for summertime help. So it's a great time for students who might be looking for something to do over the summer. There's also a number of employers that have flexible part-time positions for moms that might be sending kids back to school in the fall too. So just so many possibilities out there.
Yeah, and I know it's easy to forget for those of us who it's, been a while since we were, that high school or college age, but yeah, sometimes it can be difficult to know where to look if you're looking for something just for the summer. Maybe you come home, from college and then you got to head back in September, but to have something that, you can earn some money while you're back home.
Mm-hmm.
And how did the idea first come about to do this job fair in Vadnais Heights?
Great question. There are a number of job fairs that take place in other metro areas, but primarily in the downtown areas of Minneapolis and St. Paul. For example, the Minnesota private colleges do a job fair every year in February at the convention center. We've seen a few at some of the workforce centers, but without a big name behind it, it's difficult to get a lot of employers in one place. So we make it easy. It's also less expensive than some of those larger job fairs, but we make it easy for people to connect with us. Press Publications is helping by doing some advertising for the event, which is a great benefit to employers too, to get their name out there. So we just thought, let's take an opportunity and put all of these pieces together, see what happens. So our first one was last October, a big success. A number of employers said that they did hire some people. We're hoping to do a little bit more tracking at this one so we can actually get some numbers together too. That's always helpful to tell about the success. But bottom line is, if you make one good connection, it's a benefit.
And yeah, I imagine, from doing your first one, I'm sure there's even things that
Yep.
you and your team learn that you can even improve upon and make this
Correct.
one even more of a success for everybody.
Right. And Jimmy's Event Center is a great place to have it at too. Lots of good parking spots. It's right off the freeway access too. Signage is one thing we want to do a little bit better job on. We have a billboard on 694, so we know we're getting a lot of visibility and traffic there. And I just make a pitch, if anybody's interested, check out the VHEDC website. There's more details, and we'll be updating employer lists every day.
So how do you go about, finding, these over 40 employers, to I know it's one thing to get the word out and track, just
Right.
the people to come that are looking for jobs, but obviously you have to have all these businesses and companies come there. I imagine that must take a lot of work
Yes.
to, find the right ones and to make the commitment and get everybody in there.
And fortunately, that's a good connection through our workforce committee too. We do have probably about 18 different employers that participate in the workforce committee. And then each one of those folks, of course, knows others, maybe in their industry, or have connections with schools and other individuals. So getting the word out works well that way. But then we also have the contacts through the local schools. Century College will be there. White Bear Lake Schools, I think Stillwater Schools, another one, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But so everyone there knows more people, and that whole networking component really works well to get people together.
And as you mentioned, you have opportunities for people to work on resumes and, find education options. And I understand even if people are interested in, getting a professional headshot taken, they can do that there.
Right. They might want to use it for their LinkedIn profile and or other things. And it's a really nice benefit. As you know, that can be an expensive piece of the puzzle to put together. So we make it easy to have kind of a one-stop shop, everything you might need to get started or make a transition into a new career.
Yeah, I suppose the professional shot look a little better than just, taking a selfie
Your
with your phone
selfies,
real
yeah.
quick and or, having somebody else take the picture of you. At least this way you can get a nice thing. Is there advice you would give people who are, interested in attending this? Should they come, with resumes in hand or
Yes.
some kind of homemade business card? Is there advice, things they can do leading up to it
Sure.
to get the best experience they can?
A couple of things I would suggest. First of all, I would encourage any job seekers to take a look at the listing. Who's going to be there? What employers are participating? And you can find that online or through press publication ads. Once you know which employers are going to be there, then think about what is of interest to you, and then go ahead and search their website. You'll get more details about what kind of a company they are to work for. You may even be able to see their job posting. And then when you come, yes, bring resumes. Dress for success is what we encourage. So I'd stay away from the jeans and the backwards hats and things like that you sometimes do see. But professional dress, and be ready to talk a little bit about yourself too. People hear a little bit about that 30-second elevator pitch. It doesn't need to be that formal. You don't want it to be stilted, but you want to be comfortable being able to say, "Hi, my name is Cindy, and I'm interested in a job. I've seen," or name the job, of course, "I've seen that you have similar jobs within your company. I'd love to hear more about that." So it's a great way to get the conversation started. And go ahead and practice. There'll be people there to practice with too.
Perfect, yeah, and I'm sure just to relax and,
Right.
I'm sure they understand if people are a little nervous, but at the same time, sure, once you visit with a couple of places, you'll start kind of getting the hang of it and not be quite as nervous. Because I'm sure, like you said, you might have people who are pretty young who maybe this is their first go around. I'm sure we can all remember when we were in high school or college and maybe didn't know what we were doing in an interview, but at the same time, maybe somebody who's been displaced from their job and is professional, but yet maybe it's been 20, 30 years since they've had to go through any of this kind of process. And
it's a little awkward. I know I've worked with a number of dislocated workers. I don't know if I particularly like that title, but it's used often. So people who are making a transition either by choice or not by choice, and it's awkward. You get comfortable doing something for a long time. You know your field, you know your industry, and then you suddenly find yourself in a position where what you knew may not be as important as who you know at this point. So that might sound a little awkward, but it's the way it works out there. So networking to find out what are the good connections. And we talk a lot about that too at the job fair. How do you network? Where do you go to network?
Well, yeah, because I know we talked a little bit before the interview started just about, I was even surprised some of the numbers I saw that, yes, unemployment's fairly low, but at the same time, there's people who need jobs, but there's these companies that are having hard times finding people. So you would think, oh, it should be easy, but obviously there's some kind of disconnect that it's hard for them to find each other. So hopefully this is the type of event where
this is a great way to put those pieces together. And that's another reason why we wanted to do the job fair. Let's create an opportunity for people to get together. And last time it worked well, and we think we're going to have even more success this time.
Great. And I imagine that particular day must be quite a busy one for you.
It
as I'm
is.
sure leading up to it is just as busy. I'm sure all the planning and everything, but that day itself, I'm sure, is busy, but yet probably rewarding to see everything
Very
happening.
much so. It's always a high energy day, and it's great to meet the employers in the community and learn a little bit more about what they do and how they contribute to the success of the community and how they have opportunities for people to participate too. And then finding the schools that have the career pathways, that's also another connection point that works very well for all parties involved.
Great. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell us or that you think people need to know?
If you're a job seeker, don't give up. It is a different way of applying at this point, but use a lot of different techniques. Don't just rely on online. And if you're an employer, again, use a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of job seekers out there, and you never know where you'll find them. Face-to-face is a great way to do it, and this is a perfect opportunity to do so.
Well, I'm sure too, going to an event like this, you might even learn about careers or companies you hadn't thought about before and kind of have that light bulb moment. And even maybe if it's something that you're not ready for now, it might be something, like you said, you go back to school or get some additional training and get skills in that maybe it'll be something down the road.
Right. And there are statistics too that talk about, I think the last one I heard, by the time a person is 38 years old, which was a while ago for me, you're going to have 10 to 14 different jobs. The technology, again, has played such a role in how the job market changes, not only the job search, but the job market. And things that they're recruiting for now didn't even exist 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for stopping by today, and we will mention one more time that Northeast Metro Job Fair is Tuesday, March 27th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Jimmy's Event Center in Venice Heights, which I believe you mentioned is on County Road E, kind of close to 35E. And the event is free, should mention too. And vhedc.com/job fair if people are interested in more info.
Correct.
All right, well, thanks so much. And I'm sure we'll visit with you again in the future. Hopefully we'll get an update on what a success this job fair is.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much, Cindy.
Thank you.
And it's time for another short break. We'll be right back with more of Northeast Journal in just a minute.
It's the most natural thing for me to dance, but I was tripping and I was falling and didn't even know what multiple sclerosis was.
When I perform, I really love connecting with people. It's definitely cool to be able to give someone an experience through virtual reality.
Oh my God. I dream sometimes and I see that.
Welcome back to Northeast Journal. There's a new coffee shop in Matamidi in a familiar location. For over 20 years, customers made the coffee cottage their home away from home. New owners have changed the name to the Ox and Crow and are still serving up some great coffee and food. Here's the story.
We bought the old coffee cottage business on April 30th at 7 o'clock at night, and we opened up on May 1st at 6 a.m. I have been looking to have my own coffee house for about 20 years and have actively pursued it for 20 years, and it just never panned out. It never worked out. I've looked at 100 different places. We're striving for homemade, local community, and so we make most of our baked goods. We roast our own coffee beans. My husband's a scientist, and he has spent a couple years learning about the art and the science of coffee roasting, and so we roast our own beans right here at the shop, and so they're amazing. And we're just about small town community. We've transitioned to being known for our chai tea. We buy our herbs from a company called Anahata up in Duluth. It's a husband and wife team, and it's just straight herbs. We mix it with sweetened condensed milk, and our chai is rich, it's bold, it's incredible, and it's kind of become a big deal here. As for drinks, our coffee as well, we sell it by the pound or the half pound. You can buy it in bulk, and people are really, really liking our coffee, and also our cold brew coffee. We sell a ton of cold brew. It's super rich and not acidic, and we sell a lot of it. People really like it. We have this gorgeous new patio out here that the city and the county put together, and I'd love to see some music out there and community activities out there, and we're looking forward to the farmers market and really building our coffee roasting business and just continue our community gathering, being the community gathering space.
That's all we have time for on this month's show. Thanks for tuning in, and join us again next month for another edition of Northeast Journal.